Alright everyone, WeaponCollector here. Thought I'd do a bit of a non-weapon based video today, and it'll be, it's a video called 3 Best Things, and this is nothing to do with weapons or anything. This is the 3 best things I've accomplished so far in my life, and this originates from, it was originally Tetsubo57's idea. He created his own version of this video and he's spread it about, and then I was watching CaraDanaellea video on it, and then I commented and she said, oh, why don't you do a version? So, oh, alright. Also, I'm going to link to those two's video so you can watch theirs if you want. So I was trying to think, what's the 3 best things I've ever accomplished? Now 2 of them came to me straight away, I know what they are. But the third one was hard. So the first one was giving up drinking. Well, I did give up drinking for about 8 years. I stopped drinking. I used to be a very, very hard drinker. Well, I was an alcoholic for from the age of about 15 to 21. I was an alcoholic, so that's 6 years. So I was a teenage alcoholic. At the age of 21, something very serious happened, not to do with my health, but, you know, something serious happened due to drinking because I was getting in a lot of trouble, and this gave me a good excuse to stop drinking. Because before, the longest I'd ever given up drinking was 2 weeks. So, yeah. So number 1, the best thing I ever did was giving up drinking, and I do drink now, so I'd say giving up hard drinking, because as long as I drink like weak beer to me is 5%, as long as I stick to things like 5% beer, I can control it totally. If I start drinking strong stuff again, I know I'd go overboard, but it would never happen, because I can't even stand any crap like that anymore. I can't drink anything stronger than 5% now. So, number 1, giving up drinking, giving up hard drinking. Just the last couple of months, I have a little drink with friends, you know, sociable. Number 2 would be giving up smoking. And that's another weird thing. I'd been smoking since I was about 8. Me and Malcolm, you know, first time I ever took a drag on a cigarette was when I was about 5. And by the time I was 8, I was probably smoking once, twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week, and by the time I was 12 I was smoking every day. So I think at about the age of 23 I gave up smoking, but it was a weird one because I never meant to give up, if you know what I mean. What it was Malcolm had read a book and said to me, I read this book and I've stopped smoking now. Now he's started smoking since, but anyway, he gave me this book and it was Alan Carr's Easy Way to Give Up Smoking. Not the Alan Carr off of British TV, a different one. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Give Up Smoking. And I thought, oh, I'll just read it and give it a try. By the time I finished the book, I'd stopped smoking. And the closest I've ever come to smoking since that day, which was about 7 years ago, the day after, I got as far as going downstairs, stealing a cigarette and a lighter, putting the cigarette in my mouth, and then I remember something the book said. It said if you ever do want to smoke, get to that stage until you can't take it anymore, and then wait 10 minutes. So I waited 10 minutes, and that's it. I've never ever wanted to smoke, ever since. And lucky for me, I get to spend a lot of time away from people who smoke, so I don't have to smell it a lot. Because I think if you tend to live with people who still smoke, you're still passively smoking. So even though you don't smoke, you've still got that nicotine in your body, so that's why people tend to smoke again, I think. But luckily, I don't ever smell smoke, and in fact when I do smell it, it smells disgusting. I can't stand it. Yes, that's 2. And then the third one, this was undecided. I can't really decide the third one because it was one of 2 things. I would have said the best thing I ever did was learning to drive. I didn't learn to drive until 2 years ago. Which was partly due to, because when I was younger I used to drink all the time, so I never ever even attempted to drive, because if I had I probably would have killed myself. So I didn't learn to drive until about 2 years ago, which would have been the best thing I ever did had I actually been able to buy a car and drive. I've passed my test, I've never driven since, because I've never had the money to buy a car or run a car. So when I get a car, that'll probably be the best thing I ever did, learn to drive at a later age. So instead of that, or jointly with that, I'd probably say, weirdly enough, joining YouTube, making my WeaponCollector account. Because I get quite a lot out of this, I enjoy it, I met some good people, you know, I may be able to make a business out of it one day, you know, selling stuff I make, if I can ever get it up and running, which I plan to do eventually, you know, the pry bars and stuff like that, survival stuff. Yeah, so jointly learning to drive and making WeaponCollector YouTube account would be my third best thing I've ever done, I think. So that's mine. Giving up drinking, giving up hard drinking, stopping smoking, learning to drive jointly, and that's jointly with making my WeaponCollector YouTube account. So now I'd like some of you lot to do this video. So if you're watching it, do your own version and get this spread about, you know, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to visit my blog, link will be down there. See you later.